That would be me.
Look who we're hanging with.
Brian O'Halloran.
Jason David Frank.
Humberto Ramos.
Please do not change channel.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for logging on and tuning in. If you haven't already, hit that like button and subscribe. That way you can keep coming back over and over to hang with us and our wonderfully talented and creative guests in the arts and entertainment world. I'm Allyson Murray, and right now we are at the Orange County Convention Center in Orlando, Florida at MegaCon 2018, and we are hanging with art animator and colorist and our good friend, Jeff Balke. Thank you so much for hanging with us again.
Thank you. I'm glad you guys came back, and I'm glad that we're back in this spot on this side.
I know. I was just going to say, this looked awfully familiar. We interviewed Jeff last year. So tell us, what have you been doing in the last year?
Oh, there's not enough time, but I'll give you the Reader's Digest version. Superhero prints that I had before, because I'm a colorist in comic books, pretty much getting rid of it all. It's all going bye-bye. I got a very little selection left, but everything is based on my animation studio. So I have got some still shots here from some of the animations that we're working on. I've got some of the cartoons, some of the characters that we're working on, of course, here. And even our very first comic book, we have a little Ashcan, because we now have Balke Comics, which is a division of the studio. So, oh man, it's rolling.
You're rolling.
Oh yeah.
That's fantastic. Oh my goodness, you have been doing a lot.
Yeah.
So, how do you work? Where do you get your inspirations from to do? Because this is all new to you, right?
Yeah, this is all pretty stinking new. For the past 3 years, I've been just doing a lot of research on, of course, Disney, one of the masters of animation. But outside of just that, but also looking at a lot of the comic book guys, like even down at the end of my row here, Jose Delba. Jose Delba, I think his name is. Delba? Sorry. He is just a phenomenal guy, and people like that actually made way for people like me, like the new guys that come in, and just following up and just kind of looking at what they've done. And I don't know, that's where a lot of my inspiration comes from, is looking at what they've done and how much they have done for the industry.
Great. That's great. What essential or fundamental part do you think is that an artist needs?
One of the biggest, it's changed a lot over the years, good and bad. But really what I think any kind of artist needs, you got to have heart. You got to have the heart to want to do the artwork. You're not going to be a millionaire the next day. You're not going to be even a hundredaire probably the next day. And it's just practice, practice, practice makes perfect. I know everybody is sick and tired of hearing that. I'm sometimes sick when my mother said it to me all the time. But it is so true in the art world. And it does pay off at the end. A lot of the people who I know, they never thought they'd be doing anything in comic books, and some of those guys are big wigs at Marvel and DC. So you just never know.
Just got to keep working at it.
Absolutely.
Keep working at it and don't give up. So what has been a very strong influence for you, even changing from what you used to do, because you were a colorist before, to opening up Balke animation studios and pursuing your own art now?
Well, besides being a little crazy about doing that, because it's kind of scary to do that, being told what to do and then being the big head honcho in charge, really what I want to do is I have my own voice and have my own characters, my own stories. It's about time that now I start getting them out there. Working in comic books, you can maybe do that a little bit, to a degree, but you kind of have to give up a lot of your rights sometimes, depending on where you decide to put your characters. Now I can just throw them out there, because I do all the legality work with my characters, copyright, trademark, some of them, so on and so forth. I just want to get my own stuff out there, and I'm hoping that people are going to enjoy it. A lot of people at the show so far this year have really enjoyed, after the past couple of years have enjoyed it. It's really kind of picked up this year, and it's giving me a lot of hope that I'm on the right path.
That's fantastic. I know, I love it. So what is your favorite piece of artwork so far? Do you have one?
Oh.
I know it's so hard.
It is hard.
so hard.
Well, I'm going to say actually
Oh, I love it. I do.
is this one right here, because
do.
this is actually me.
I know, I
and then B, and then we're in a coffee shop, big shock. Because everyone who knows me knows that I love coffee, that we both love coffee. So B is actually a barista, and the Balkanator here is a comic book colorist. So these two guys, I mean, they're us.
Yes.
Literally.
Beautiful.
So we just kind of took that and we made them into characters. Our first animation is based on these two, which is being created right now by a former Disney animator. All by cell animation, so drawing everything by hand. And, well, I'm not doing it, they're doing it. But
What kind of tools do you like to use? What's your favorite?
when it comes to cell animation, the stuff that I kind of like to do, of course, is the pencil, the almighty pencil. But when it comes to the digital side of things, Photoshop. Photoshop is probably my favorite friend because, of course, that's where I do all the coloring. And then sometimes the animation tools themselves are a little bit different. Toon Boom, I think, is probably my favorite to actually put the animations together. But with cell animation, there's no computer. It's all old school.
Good. Awesome. Is there an element of your work that's more enjoyable than other elements?
No, I'm kind of biased. It's all pretty enjoyable.
That's awesome, considering you do it for a living.
Right.
So how do you know when a project is done?
You never really do. You never really do. Sometimes it's like when I look at a piece, or I look, let's say for comic books, I'll kind of do both. But when I look into comic books, it's like, well, that looks pretty much done. Let me add a little bit here. It might start looking too busy. Once that happens, stop. Animation, you're never really done. At least not right now in my eyes, because the animation process, it's very meticulous. It's very, one little line can throw something off. And I mean, you don't want to have 10,000 characters all in one scene, because your animators would really hate you. So basically, I mean, and that's pretty much it.
Do you have a vision before you start a project?
Oh yeah. Just like coloring, just the same exact thing. I can see what when people give me something black and white, or I get the pages black and white, I can already see what's going to look like colored. Same thing with the animation. I can see the two characters and already the cute little story that might follow them to kind of start bringing them to life on the big screen.
That's great.
Yeah, I love it.
Wow. Do you have any rituals before you start? Before, after, during?
Coffee.
Coffee.
Before, during, and after. It's a lot of long hours. I mean, it's even more than comic books. In comic books, I was up for 24 hours a day. Animation is 26 hours a day, it seems.
Yeah.
Not a whole lot of sleep, but it is probably I'm a big kid again, and that's one of the greatest parts. It's like I'm actually bringing my characters to life, thinking of all these different stories, their villains, their heroes, and so on and so forth. It's just so cool to go back to that again, like when we were all little kids,
So remind people where they can find you and your artwork.
Well, of course, here at MegaCon. But definitely JeffBalkeStudios.com. We're on Facebook. It's better just to go on anything that's social media and just type in Balke Studios, because we're everywhere. We have a new YouTube channel we just started as well.
Nice.
So we're trying to kind of get some more people there. We're too new, so they can't even give us, we don't even have our own custom URL yet. We got to get 100 followers, so please follow us.
Exactly.
It's just you can look under Jeff Balke Studios or Balke Studios, and we pop right up there.
Fantastic. What's coming up for you after MegaCon this year?
Oh my goodness. I went from 40 shows a year down to 15, and we just boosted up to almost 30 now.
Oh,
So
wow.
we're kind of going back up, but I think we're going to stop right there because I have to do a lot of stuff with the studio. But we have more shows coming up. We have New Orleans coming up in about 2 weeks after the show. Then we have a couple of local shows out by us in Wisconsin. And of course, we've got our first animation coming up, which I'm really excited about. And we also have our first kids book coming out featuring our Fairy Tale Land characters. That's coming out later on this summer. So and hopefully a card set, maybe a trading card set. We'll see if I can fit that in.
I don't know,
We're
Jeff.
working on it.
Do we have time for a game? We like to play games, Jeff. You
Oh,
remember
I
we like to play
games.
games.
Yes.
We are going to play Dirty Minds.
Oh no,
You know
I
how to
can't
play?
play. I'm naughty.
We don't have time to play Dirty Minds.
Okay.
So what we're going to do is just open the book randomly, pick a square,
Okay.
and we're going to tell each other the clues, and then we're going to have to guess what the actual word is.
Okay.
Want me to go first to break the ice?
Sure. Yeah. Why not?
Okay. How about I get blown regularly?
Oh. Windmill?
Oh my God. To do me, you have to put your lips together.
I am not playing this game.
I get grabbed when you're out of bounds.
Oh, no, not a football.
We're pretty close.
With football or
No,
the wind?
the wind.
The windmill? I get blown. Whistle.
Absolutely! Yay! Your turn.
When I get old, I sag. That's, well. Yes, after that. There can be two of me under your tongue. Oh, that's not right. Sometimes it's hard to keep me up.
I'm thinking like my boobs.
A little higher up.
Jen! Well, guys, once again, it's been a blast hanging with Jeff today. I'm Allyson Murray, but before we go, we'd like to thank our very special partners at Krypton Radio out of LA, Famous Faces and Funnies, Off the Chain Radio with Yvonne Mason, Space Coast Comics, Asylum Convention Entertainment Services with Heather Reed, and our great friends at Summon Unique Magazine. These are the folks that share our videos all over the World Wide Web, and we hope you will too. Don't forget to hit that like button, leave a comment, and let us know what you think of today's show and our guest. You can also check our guest links below. Remember to subscribe, log on, and stay tuned to see who we're hanging with next. Oh my God, Jeff, that was great.
That was
Thank
awesome.
Thank you.